Welcome to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. My name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. Our objective is to enthuse, inspire, energize, and empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes here in BW and beyond. We do so by inviting these entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs into our makeshift studio. Sometimes we call them to the restaurant, sometimes we go to our studio, and we ask them to share their experiential knowledge, their experiences and their expertise, and we ask them as many questions as we can, aimed at empowering you also as a viewer. Hello dear viewer and listener, as usual it's me, your host Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. I do my best to bring powerful guests, people who will make a difference in your life. We're going to talk about all things real estate in this particular episode, and he's not a first-time guest. Spoiler alert, he's one of the best performing guests that we've had in terms of the amount of response and resonance that he's had. And his name is Isaac Molefinyane of Matchmakers, who's become a friend of mine, but most importantly, he's a fellow mentor helping in the real estate space. Welcome to Mogobe Nuggets, sir.
Thanks for having me again, Mr.
Okay.
Mogobe.
I mentioned your name, but maybe you'd like to share a short, condensed CV of yourself.
I'm not really a big fan of CVs. I think, for me, it's, I always say, if anybody were to remember me, just remember me by the guy that solves people's problems using real estate, because for me, that's what gives me more fulfillment. I think, in life, like it's everybody, they get that comfort from and affirmations and all of that from different things. For me, after I changed somebody's life, I've impacted somebody's life, I've helped them to move from point A to point B. That is what gives me fulfillment.
Okay.
Both, in a professional, personal space, I think even in my office, from my staff to even my other clients. I think last year after we had our interview also, there was another post by Isaac.
2 years ago.
Yeah, about like the project that I helped Isaac Makwala. I was helping him with his retirement package. We did help him to acquire a plot and develop 11 apartments in Tsokotla that are currently, collecting a very good sum of rental for him, and that is a service that we are providing to him at no cost. Not because we couldn't charge for that service, but that's what gives us fulfillment. When you impact one person, that person changed lives for other 10 people. For me, that's what makes me more content. Okay. So if that the degree that I have and my other qualifications, I think for me, the work that I do to uplift other people, I'd rather have that on my CV. I think it's be more louder than my degrees. Thanks for having me again.
Okay. All right. It's your second visit to the Nuggets, and we've come a long way since you've been here. I think when you were here, we're probably 3,000 or 4,000 views. Subscribers. Now we're going towards 10,000, and
that's
largely in part because of your contribution and the amount of public interest that was cultivated by our discussion. How has it been since your last appearance?
There are two things. It's either we are growing or we are shrinking. Yeah, so if you are not shrinking, that is the most important thing. I think from the last time we were here also, we as matchmakers also, we're still trying to find our identity in the market, of which now we really find our feet and defined, the route that we want to go into. Because for me, I believe in even our slogan at Matchmakers is not here to be average, because I don't want to do what other people are doing. I don't want to not really much of a follower. I always like to set the trend. I always like to be very creative, very innovative, and just open new paths. That's why even right now, the market is changing, but you look at most real estate companies, they all want to do the same thing, deliver the same thing, because our problems have changed. So we need to change now and bring new solutions to the new problems. Some of the things used to work back in the day, when you say like it's I want to have a house in Gaborone, another house at home for when I retire that used to work then. So you cannot do the same thing now in 2023. You can't do that. So right now we are facing new problems. We need new solutions. That's where now we are jumping in as matchmakers. And then it's going to be very interesting. We have very great solutions also for the market.
Yes, we're going to go into those solutions in a minute. But I think one of your videos clips went very, very viral in places like TikTok, when you said to people that they take 15 years to make a profit sometimes, and that a lot of people are getting it wrong in multi-res. Did the people respond to that? Did they come to you for guidance after you made such statements?
It was very overwhelming. I don't think today I'll be giving out my number. I think when I even got a call from, I had so many interviews after our podcast. I think I was at Yarna FM, I was at Caps FM, I was at RB2 also in Juma, because they wanted to understand. Because I think what I was saying, it was very brutally honest, and it was the sad truth that, and it was conversations that people are afraid to have. So I was very blunt about it when I say some people make one pool after 15 years. And, I had a lot of calls. Now, see on social media, people can comment and say, what is this guy talking about? But then the same person will pick up the phone and say, dude, now that I'm looking at my numbers, your guy that made one pool after 15 years is actually lucky. I'm still running at losses after 15 years. And I'm at a point now where the property has depreciated. The vacancy now is killing me because of the state now of the building. So I need to put more capital now into this simping chic to salvage the little that I thought I would get. So it was very sad, and I think even right now, I think it's a conversation that a lot of people still need to be held by the hands and still be rescued. Like a lot of people, you still go back to the household debt.
It's monstrous.
Yeah, it's very high. So I think that conversation about multi-reses, because when you say to anybody so now you want to invest in property, what do you want to invest in? As the natural answer is going to be, I want to do a multi-res. So I think because a lot of people don't look at other investment options also. You still have your self-catering, that you can do self-catering as an investment option.
Yes.
You can have your sectional title as an investment option. You can buy the plots, build as an investment option. And then for the multi-reses is when you get the plot, build and hold for rental. But then everybody want to start by buying the plot, building and putting tenants for rental purposes before they raise capital. So you are actually doing that with the bank's money. So what do you actually now do? You are holding on to something that doesn't belong to you, because this money belongs to the bank. So the first thing you need to do is to be financially free by buying the plot, build, sell, keep the profit, so that by the time when you build that multi-res, at least now your cash flow is your cash flow. This is the money coming into your account. You have actually used the bank's money to make yourself the money. So now a lot of people,
well, it's good.
They're starting from the end.
So hopefully it's been good for matchmakers, but one would want to ask about that rescue plan, whether matchmakers and yourselves have a particular approach where somebody has been, as it were, in the wilderness of real estate and losing money. Is there a particular thing that you start to say, now, let's stop the bleeding, let's reverse the process, let's see whether we can get you from the red back to the black?
No, I think we have touched so many lives. I think I've changed more lives than, this new millennium prophet. Because I think if you're already now in trouble, but I'll tell people a solution now. They would want to go do the same solution themselves. They did the first mistake by themselves. I tell them a solution now. They want to do them by themselves and then get into even more trouble. But I'll just tell them anyway. So if you have multi-reses, you are making losses. You have high vacancy rates. You are not been paying your withholding taxes. You have having problems with your depreciation. You still need to put more capital, to revive your place. I think one of the best way to get out of it, because if you sell a multi-res like that, because then you're going to sell it as an investment property. So if it's collecting 10,000 pula, you cannot sell it more than 1 million, because whoever is going to buy it, they need to make profit from it. So if they're going to be paying an installment more than 10,000 pula, they're already making a loss the moment they sign that sale agreement.
Yes.
So the best way to sell a multi-res when you are already now in that predicament is you do sectional titles.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have 4 units, you'll sell them 1 million. But then this 4 units, if you do sectional titles for each, you can sell each unit now 400 or 450 and actually make 1.3, 1.4 million instead of selling them 1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So then you can actually now recover and recoup whatever you have.
Sectional title is the key.
It
But
is.
You have to know how to do it. Like you said, you need a
That's another
professional.
thing also.
Mm.
And you know, it's not stone cut for every place, every location, every property. So you have to depend. So you're always going to need professional advice.
Okay. I've been following you in the media, and you've been doing a lot of projects, and some of them are huge. Let's start with Sarona. Sarona has the whole complexion of the city has changed in a space of 24 months. It's a totally different story. Tell us your involvement and take us through the process.
I think our input with Sarona City was, I think, when we were involved at very early stages, we contributed also in the concept development to say, so now there's this piece of land. What can we create here that would be not just be financially viable, and also, you know, for the community that can bring upliftment to the community? Because if you look at that lot also, next to it is like it's a township and low income areas. But now with the development of Sarona City, then the whole place has changed. So for us was let's offer apartments. We do townhouses. Let's put a shopping complex. So we still have a market where they want to build their own houses, but right now security is very imperative, very prudent. Everybody is very concerned about security. Let's make gated estates inside gated estates. So that's what we are doing.
Gated within gated.
So the apartments, there are 320 apartments, of which I think there's only one that is left, if not yet sold. I think we are sold out in the apartments, if not. I think the last time I checked last week, there was one left. So from the apartments, so the apartments that are in their own gated estate, but they are within the bigger estate of Sarona City. And then the shopping mall is there separate. So then we have 60 townhouses that are also a gated estate on their own. Then we have 60 standalone plots that are gated estate on their own. So that it doesn't get too crowded, and we can still have traffic control and still, you know, maintain that security. Because also what we're trying to sell at Sarona City was that lifestyle and also that convenience of giving you now a clinic inside, a shopping mall, there's a preschool, there's a swimming pool, there's a community hall, and also office block on it. So when you're staying at Sarona City, all your social amenities are there around you, so you don't really have to drive anywhere.
And what made you realize there was a hunger for this sort of there was a niche for this kind of real estate?
I think it's always, you know, being a step ahead of everybody, and also not, you know, because also if you surround yourself by people that think like you know, when you say these things, they don't think, you know, you're crazy. Because then, you know, other people, what they want to do is just to build those 2 beds, 3 beds houses you see in block 7 and block 10. Like, I'd never want to be part of that. So for me, if you are creating a new project, a new concept, it's not creative, it's not 2 to 5 years in advance, then I don't want to put my name on it. So when we say we are part of something, then it's, you know, it's something that, you know, that is already advanced, you know.
Yeah. To an untrained eye, people may not appreciate the key differences between, say, a block 7 development and Sarona. What are the key differences? Is it just because it's built up, because it's high rise?
Hey man, it's, you know, the standard of that place, the level of class, the quality of the materials that are used, and that's just pure opulence. It's more or less the same standard as I Towers. If like you go inside Sarona City, it's a pity the apartments are sold out, but the townhouses are still, we still have few that are available. So I think for somebody who has missed an opportunity in the apartments can grab one of the townhouses. But because it's with block 7 flats, there you're selling brick and mortar. So there we are selling like lifestyle, you know, convenience, just class, just standard security. That's what we are selling there, not the bricks and the mortar.
Okay. Now, is there still a market for similar estates around Gaborone, or it's time to move on to something else?
There's still a very huge market for apartments in the city because you are getting a lot of people that move into town. You're getting there's a new setup of families, and also now we are having a lot of people that are commuting, because I think one of the concepts that we had for Sarona City was also to turn the whole place into an Airbnb, into self-catering apartments. So that's the ultimate goal. I think for everybody that we're selling them, that place was, and the only for this year, that's when we're having long-term leases, but for only few apartments. The rest of them, we are putting furniture, we are going to rent them as self-catering, because that market is still very big. For people that are coming to weddings to Gaborone, that are coming to funerals here, that are coming for graduations, that are coming for business reasons, that are coming for medical reasons. Because I think if you are a person that travels, for me, I never hardly out when I travel, then I always take a week plus, and I wouldn't want to be in a hotel for that long. I always prefer self-catering, and I know it's not just me. There's a lot of us out there.
Well, I'm one of you.
Yeah. So for a concept like that, when now we are having that self-catering concept, I think that's one of the things that we really want to introduce to our country, because we are really lacking, on that space.
All right. I know that you have another concept called Sesego Muse. Tell us about the motivation behind that one, and tell us what's happening and why you're excited about it.
Sesego Muse, we already sold out. Yeah, we already sold out. That's one. I think the one that I was telling you that we sold it out in 14 days. It's on Block 5. So
that's a record.
Yeah. No, we have set even higher records before.
Is it?
Yeah, no. We've done much worse. I think we had another project in G North. I think it was almost 120 plus that we sold in one day. So we have.
Yeah, you've broken those.
Yeah.
What is the trick? Before we talk about Sesego Muse in detail, what is the trick for whipping up public frenzy to the point where things are sold out so fast?
I think for everything that you sell, first you need to understand your customer, because you don't want to give any customer, regardless of whatever product you are selling, first you understand your customer, because only when you understand your customer, that's when now you can start giving them solutions. But what a lot of people do in sales is they want to give you a solution before they understand you. They understand what are the plans for Mogobe for 2023. So then if I understand more of you, understand, okay, fine, this is the direction you want to take, this is the investment you are looking at. So when I give you those solutions, then I'm already aligned with what you're already doing. So a lot of people, they want to sell you cool time, but
cool,
like as the guy in the street, even if you have your mask on, it's COVID time, and then maybe you have flu, the guys still want to sell you cool time. It's not just that product. Every product, even like it can be a car. So you can't sell or give anybody a product before you understand them. So I think for us also, when we look at the residential market, who buys residential properties? 60% is female, between the age of 28 to about 38. Those are the people that are buying residential properties. So the males that are buying residential properties are the guys that are about to get married or just got married, or maybe the family is expanding. And for males to make those decisions, very difficult. So our focus is on females. So that's why you look at our aesthetics and on all our developments, we are catering for females. So when our male customers, they come and look at the place, it's already a home for them. So we please the females, and then the men, they just follow and they just sign the check.
You'd think that because we're told males are more visual in the way that they get excited, you'd think that they would be more, but it's the other way around. It's the female who's more
on the residential market.
Yes.
Industrial and commercial is more male dominated. So only few women, when you try to pitch to them a concept of we have 3,000 square meters, we want to put a couple of warehouses, women, they don't want to hear that conversation. But I can sit down with a female and say, in this 3,000 square meters, we're going to put 40 apartments, that are going to be collecting a rental of about 200,000. Put the whole idea together for them; they will love the idea. But the male also, so it's about more understanding your market and the demographics.
Yeah. So you told me it's been sold out, but tell us the concept and how it works. Sesego Muse.
I think, like I keep emphasizing, that it's understanding the market and understanding your customers. So the opportunity that we give to our customers at Sesego was the construction is going to last for 2 years.
2 years. Yeah.
So we are selling you the one bed. It's about, I think it was about 550. So when it's 550, put a deposit. As we are building, keep paying towards that 550. So that in 24 months, when we have completed construction, either you are left with 100,000 or 200,000. A lot of people don't qualify for this money at the bank. So for us, and there's this huge market of entertainers, of business owners, entrepreneurs, self-employed. We have our sisters that are selling food in the streets. They make, sound money, and now everybody's selling traditional food, and then we have our sisters also that are selling clothes also. These people, they're not bankable, because that's why now we are still captured the way we are captured in our economy, because we are not taught ever how to be bankable. This is something you learn after you get rejected from the bank at least 2-3 times. I have the money, but I'm not bankable. How do you get bankable? That's another problem. So because now this one we cannot tease the whole country about it now. So the best thing we can do is to give them solutions. I think that's why now we have created even that concept in G North of Tsokotla Estate of self-catering rent-to-buy units. So Tsokotla Estate in G North. So it's a rent-to-buy concept. So with Sesego Muse, then this gave a lot of people now an opportunity for them to own property. And a lot of guys that say, look, I'm in supplies. I can make 100,000 now, another 100,000 in 6 months, but next year 550 I would have made the money. But because the guy is not bankable, he will never own property. So when we provide them solutions like this, we just touched and changed somebody, of which you look at in our Botswana market, no one is currently offering this to the market.
So you're actually offering them a bank of sorts, in the sense that they're storing value, they're storing wealth in these properties.
Yeah.
And if it's sectionalized, they can then have it valued and approach the bank, isn't it? Is that the idea?
Yeah. So they can actually, because the trick, I always tell people that the trick in property investment is you get your property, your first property, you get it right. There's no stopping you. The only problem is your first property is not income generating. This one I'll never even apologize for it. So your first property should always be income generating, so that it allows you to get the second property. So if you buy your first property and you stay in it, it's not an asset, it's a liability. So a lot of people, because especially on residential properties, they use emotions. They get because there's so many social factors, that make them push them to make those decisions. But even if you are getting married, even if your family is growing, even if your girlfriend is pregnant, you qualify for $1 million. Let us help you to get income generating properties, so that cash flow, we can release equity with it and get you the family home. But now people want to do it vice versa. They would want to get the family home, come to me and say, now I want to invest in property. Dude, you only now qualify for 20,000. How can I help you?
And you're up to your neck in debt.
Yeah, like it's for you are only going to recover for after next 15 years. You tell the guy, let's sell this house so that we fix your financial status. They'll tell you, dude, my son was born here in this house. We got married in this house. I'm emotionally attached to it. So unfortunately for me, I only focus on numbers, not emotions.
Not emotions. Okay, I think we still have to go back to this point where we have to explain, like we're explaining it to children, why it is financial suicide to hurriedly buy an expensive house and an expensive car when you're starting your working life. Just explain, maybe even using a few examples that you've come across where people literally hang themselves financially by rushing to impress with a big house and a big car.
I think those ones, I think we still want to have to do more teachings about them, because you see, if you look at the youth, at UB, at all these universities, all these kids are using iPhones. I use an iPhone 14, and this kid wants to use the same phone as me. What is it really that they're chasing? They're chasing that status of class. status. They want just chasing that. I've achieved. I'm successful. So they want everything. They want to surround themselves with everything that resemble success, and by doing that, also getting themselves in a lot of debt. So now, if you have a car, you have a house, because in our society, you are judged by the car you drive, not by the house you live in, because you can rent it, but you can't rent a car that long. So first thing is you are judged by the car you drive. Like, that's how people address you. Before they address the way you, because even if you wear shorts and a t-shirt and flip-flops from Mr. Price, they'll say, no, you see that guy with flops? He's dressed like that because he drives a Mercedes. Yeah, that's what you do when you're driving Mercedes. You don't have to show anybody that you are rich. So, because we have built that in our society, then now you need to be respected because everybody needs that affirmation and that respect. So that's why now you find a lot of people now, as soon as they get a job, they want to rush to buy a car, rush to buy a house, stay in that house, and get that car. And then now, because you've already now made a habit of getting in bad debts, you continue to clothing shops, you started getting in debt for almost everything. And then by the time when we try to rescue you, you already been blacklisted. Like it's already chaotic. But for me, my advice is, you can get all of these things, but you just have to do them. There's a sequence that you need to do them. First thing, get your income generating property. Then you can get your home. Then you can release your equity. That equity now you release from your second property. You can put a deposit towards your car, so that even your repayment for that car is not that high. So you can actually have everything you are having right now, just more money and more controlled. So just the order and the sequence you do things, that's what makes difference. That's why you find you go to the same workplace, same people are both earning 15,000 pula, but their lives are totally different. Because of the order they do things.
Yeah. I mean, in church they say, seek ye first the kingdom, and all these things will be added on to you. In business, it's seek ye first financial freedom, in terms of managing your finances, and all these things will be added unto you. It's a similar kind of logic.
The social press, somebody actually said, they just use social media as much as, we are all depending on it, but it just, hypothetically, they were saying, they just wish social media could just be closed for 1 year, so that we all snap back to reality and just focus on the most important things. Because I think a lot of things, because I keep emphasizing, even when my mentees, that what you are the information that you consume. You cannot spend 80% of your time on TikTok, on Facebook, on playing games, and then now you are at restaurants, you are at this. What information are you consuming in those environments? So by the moment when I sit down with you and trying to have I can't have a conversation with you, because your subconscious,
your mind is cluttered. You open your mouth, you just say something else. Sometimes you sit with these millennials.
So we are the information we consume. So you can only imagine now, if now we expose ourselves, to podcasts like this, because I was even telling this other kid, she's at varsity. I said, there's a podcast I wanted to show her, the podcast of Tom Ferry.
Tom Ferris.
Tom Ferry. Tom Ferry is one of he's also doing the same thing you're doing. Is the American guy. He's a podcast in real estate.
Yes.
So I said, can you search the podcast? She goes to YouTube, but she's using an iPhone. She doesn't even know that you can download, save, arrange your podcast on your iPhone, because the only thing they want to do on that iPhone is your Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, pictures, and that's it.
Yeah.
And the most important thing is the pixels of the camera. That's it. But there's so much you can do with an iPhone, but you see them crying for it that you really think they'll put it to good use. So the power is in our hands.
It is.
And that phone is always in our hands.
True. Let's talk about Motswedi Place. What's your interest there? What's your involvement?
Motswedi Place, we're doing the same concept we were doing for Sesego Muse. Yes, it's the same concept. Still saving,
What are the numbers in terms of units and so on?
I think we're doing about 120 units there, of which in 2 phases. The first phase has already been sold out. The construction it's almost at the first phase should be completed in April 2023, and the second phase should be completed December 2023. Yeah, so I think we are left with only few units for the phase 2. So there you're looking at your 1-bed apartment is a 610,000. And then the 2 beds is about 900,000. But they're very spacious because what we keep doing is from Sarona City to Motswedi Place to Sesego to all this, as we keep doing, then we get feedback from our clients. Or, you know what, I wish you guys, the kitchen would have been a little bit bigger. I wish you guys could have done. Then with every new project we do, we add all the good ideas and opinions, the feedback that we got from. So every time when we launch a new project, it means it's better and improved. It's a new version of the Mac.
What would you say is unique selling proposition at Motswedi Place?
It's in Kale. So very convenient. It's right on the main road. Just Kale opposite Block 9. So when you're coming from Julia Molefe, facing Kale, that T-junction, that's where Motswedi Place starts. Okay. So we're actually now doing, so next to it, we are doing Motswedi Place, first phase and second phase. So next to it, also we are building another 80 standalone houses because there's been request now, a lot of guys saying, look, you guys build these townhouses and these apartments. We would like to have a 4-bedroom house, double garage with a swimming pool, with the same concept, but on a standalone yard. So right next to Motswedi, we are now doing Sesha Muse, of which the construction would start, I think, sometimes towards the end of the year when we're about to finish the phase 2 of Motswedi. Okay. But the most interesting one, it's Tsokotla Estates in G North.
Tsokotla Estates,
Yes,
G
sir.
North. We're going to talk about it in a minute, but you touched on this and you got a lot of people's appetite whetted. Can you, in a space of 5 or less minutes, tell the viewer how they can go from financial poverty, property-wise? Let's say someone is on a salary of 10,000, let's say 15,000 a month.
Yeah.
How can they go from barely surviving to rich in a space of 5 years if they follow your advice? I know that you have you have strict guidelines.
Yeah, there was a time, when we are providing this service, on the house. So, but also you go back to Real Estate Professional Act and it said I need to charge you at least about almost 1,000 pula per hour. But also I have my admin cost. I still need to do concept development for you. I still need to do your financial plan for the next 3 to 5 years, like the investment plan. So then I've realized that with a lot of people that are provided the service for free, they don't want to make any sacrifices. And also the things you get for free, you don't really value them. So right now it's 30,000 or you won't see, you won't get my attention. So if you want to see me for an hour, then I'm charging you 30,000 pula, and then I'll help you to do that investment plan. Otherwise I'm not even moving from my chair. So I keep emphasizing that where you start, we have to look at where's your current position and where you want to go. And also where you want to go also, I cannot make your dreams, I cannot make my dreams your dreams. So I always tell my customers that give me your 4 objectives. What do you want to achieve? Why are you in my office? And a lot of guys will say, no, I just want money. You want money? What money? How much money? No, just money, a lot of money. And then, we had this conversation before that, until you fix your relationship with money, never expect it to be in your pocket. It will keep coming and going. So you need to fix your relationship with money so that when you talk about it, your face lights up. You're excited to talk about it. It's like you're talking about your wife, because you cannot love something and have such a bad relationship with it. What do you expect from it? Having such a bad relationship with something you love, then you expect it to stay. It will never stay. So I always say financial discipline by let's fix your relationship with money, but you don't fix your relationship with money before you fix your other problems. I think this one we're doing it on your mentorship where it was not on the market.
It wasn't on the podcast.
So I was saying before you fix your your relationship with money, you need to fix your family problems. You need to fix your relationship problems. You need to fix your professional problems, because the moment you try to deal with them in silos, your boyfriend or your girlfriend is the one affecting your financial decisions. Your family is black taxing you, affecting your financial decisions. Your career, your objectives about your career and where you want to take it would always affect this. Your family, your childhood traumas, all these issues, if you do not solve them, these things will always affect your financial decisions. That's your subconscious. So for you to have 100 billion in your pocket and say, I have money or I don't have money, family, career, personal, they affect this decision. And also, now when you're at this point, I think, because we say a lot of things here, I think if somebody forgets the whole interview, I think maybe remember this, that if now you say, no, they're not talking about me today here, Isaac and Mr. Mogobe, and no, let me fast forward this podcast. I think you pause right here and you say, and convert the money you have right now in your bank account to US dollars, and then decide if you still feel the information is not important. Because until you convert your money to US dollars, then that's when you see you are at what level of financial freedom. Because if you have 10,000 now, you probably just have $800, of which you can't really do much about it. So then that's when now, when you start looking at your money like that, then that hunger and that drive. But you're asking about advice. So we sort out our financial relationships.
Yes.
But then from there, then you have to have very clear objectives. Like if you say you want to have money, put a figure on it. And
have a number.
Because you cannot look for money without a number. So like if you say, I need money, I need 200,000 or I need 20 million. Put a number on it, not just money, because then you never know if you are winning or you are losing, because your objectives are not well defined and they are not measurable. So you put that figure there, and then not everything also have to be about money. Also, I like people that that give back and empower also in other people.
Yes. Like we try to do.
Yeah.
Whenever we can.
Yeah, and also after that, then you have that investment plan. And I think this one, we touched on it before, that a lot of people, they just plan to die, but they don't plan to live. They know that the day that I die, I have life cover, I have insurance, I have medical aid, I have Motswedi, I have this society and all of these things. But when they're here, they don't know what they're doing 2023, 2024. They just say, look, this year I'll see. I'll see that's why they all like to say, no, this year is my year. This year is not your year if you're still doing the same things you were doing last year.
Previous years, yeah.
It can be 2024, 2025. You are still going to be the same person, because you still have the same habits that you don't want to let go. You don't want to make sacrifices. You don't want to have financial discipline. You don't want to have professional help in real estate. You don't want to be mentored. So that's still you, and you think it's a new year. No. It's just change of days and calendar. You are still the same OG. You're still you do the same thing, you get the same results.
Okay.
So all these things, you change them, and then you have a proper financial plan. On your financial plan is clearly defined that it's a 3-year to 5-year plan. There's first year, this is what I'm doing, second year, third year, fourth year, and fifth year. And then also all the properties that you have also, they sing the same song. So all the things you get
celebration.
Yes, sir. So you get very well organized, but you can't do all. It's not common sense. It's not common sense, and it's a service you need to pay for it, so that because I think also when we put it together for you, we need to bring accountants on board, we need to bring attorneys on board, we need to bring tax planners on board, we need architects, we need quantity surveyors, we need so many people on board. So when we say we're charging you these fees, because then now you don't have to run around, do all these things like it's
a one-stop service.
Yes, sir.
All right, now we go to your latest passion. I call these my big projects. I call them magnificent obsessions.
Yes, sir.
So my impression is that your current magnificent obsession is G North Tsokotla Estate. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Tsokotla Estate.
Tsokotla Estate.
Yes, sir.
It's your current obsession.
Yes, sir.
Why? What is it about?
Okay. So we tried. There were some apartments that we were doing in Mogobe. They were called Alo apartments. I think about 50 of them. So we sold them in a concept that we did. The deposit there was 80,000 pula, and then you pay us the balance. So when you pay 80,000 pula, we give you the house keys. Then you move into the house, 2 bedrooms for 600,000. You put 80,000 pula deposit, then you pay the balance in 5 years. So I think the feedback also that we got from that concept as we are doing, it was a rent to buy thing. Because a lot of people, like I keep emphasizing, that a lot of people are not bankable. A lot of people, they cannot get facilities from the bank. It's a huge market, even especially after the the pandemic. So looking at Alo apartments in Mogoditsane, and then we kept improving the idea. I think that's where now we are at Tsokotla. We feel now at this point, I think we are going to offer a better product, better than the one we previously offered go Mogoditsane at the rent to buy there. So this Tsokotla Estate is a rent to buy complex.
Okay. People need to come to your office, but generalities, what can people expect in terms of levels?
Okay. So what we are doing at Tsokotla Estates. So let me tell first who is my target market. So we have a lot of entertainers that are making so much money during festive season. They can't go to the banks to get facilities. The guy that fixes your car, he can't get a loan from the bank. The lady we buy lunch from, she can't get a loan from the bank. And then we have people that, they lacked the financial freedom, not by choice, but also by the generation they were in. And they have retired. They're only left with the little they have left. They can still now, most of them, they cannot get loans from the bank. So we are giving them an opportunity here also. So we are giving an opportunity to anybody that can not go through the bank and get a loan. And there are people that also work in the airline industry. I think a lot of businesses that and tourism and also tourism. A lot of businesses that were closed during the pandemic. A lot of those people, even today, most banks are still very hesitant in financing them because now they're deeming their industries very shaky, very unreliable. So they always come with conditions. So those people, now we're giving them an opportunity to say, give me 10% deposit. Then you pay the balance in 10 years. So we have a
10 years.
Yeah. So we have a 3 bedrooms, double story at 1.3 million. You put a 10% deposit, that's 130,000, and then you have a balance 1.3, 130, 1.150, somewhere there. So that balance divided by 10 years now, it comes to about 9,000 pula. So if you're self-employed, we are also not saying you need to pay monthly. You can put the 10% deposit, but if you put more deposit, it means you can actually come and put 500,000 deposit and say, look, I'll see you again next year. Let me go hustle. We allow that. Or
in other words, you allow them a whole 12 months to hustle if they've given 500,000.
Yeah, but we agree that within this 12 months, you should have paid this amount of money, but it should not be, you should not be behind. You rather prepay it. Yeah, you rather prepay it by putting a less sum of deposit. Because right now, if somebody qualifies for a personal loan for 500,000, you put the 500,000, you move into your house. Then you say, this personal loan, I'm going to service it for the next, I don't know how long. But provided you have other side hustles, because I really never advocate for a personal loan. I'll just give you an example.
Because of the interest rate.
Because of the interest rate. Because a lot of people also, when they go to the bank to get facilities, they only want a bank that can give them more money and very fast. They never look at the interest rate. I've never, I had customers come to my office just negotiating for a 5% commission. It's like, no, give me 4.5 or 4%. And for me, I don't negotiate in my office. I'm in I Towers on the 11th floor. I would open those doors and just show you the half of the seat. I'm like, you really want to negotiate? I don't like negotiating. And also,
you show them half the seat.
Yeah, it's very disrespectful, I think, when these people, but you don't negotiate with black business. Because the same people, when they go to the bank to get a loan, they are getting prime plus 4. They don't even know what is prime. They don't know what it means by 4. When now they say there's 25 basis point increment, they don't care about that because they just want the bank that gives them more money. So that's why when we do our consultations, we are doing this investment plan for our customers. These are some of the things that we teach them.
No, that's wonderful. Yeah. That's wonderful. I want us to talk about the new Travel Land Act because I've had a guest here, and Mr. Gilbert Sisini. Basically point out its weaknesses, and he's actually gone further and gotten a legal opinion which shows that some aspects of it are impractical or impracticable. I don't know whether you have any observations of your own and any preliminary views on the act itself.
Bit political, so I think for me, what I've observed about the new act, because also it's not yet in implementation. It's still
supposed to be.
Yeah, it's approved, but also you look at. I think for me, my biggest concern is the way it was introduced. I don't think the government was ready, because for us, we are in a real estate business, and a real estate business, we are dependent between the bank, BRS, and the deeds office. So the government introduced the Tribal Land Act, and they said for all the tribal land properties, then they are going to attract transfer duty. And they also need to do valuation reports for all of them, and they all have to go through BRS. So BRS before this they were already overwhelmed. So now all these properties now, they are going through BRS. It means now if your file that used to take 3 days at BRS now is taking 3 months. After 3 months, then it goes to BRS deeds office. It takes another 3 months. So when I sell property now, I have to wait 7 months to get paid. And then we are in a business that depends on cash flow. So I think some of these things, I think when the government, they implement these things, I think lack of consultation of the private sector, I think is always going to be a setback. Because now they're doing something in good faith, because there are so many good things that are coming from that thing. I think especially for inheritance part, that I think even the minister was saying that one, then we don't have to pay transfer duty anymore on it. And I also know with the new transfer duty act also, in the corridors also, they've been talking about the review of the transfer duty for 30% for non-citizens, of which I think even for us, for the last 4 years, we haven't sold any property to a non-citizen. So all these things that affect the market.
Wasn't it intended to limit sales to non-citizens?
The idea behind
having the desired effect.
The idea behind it was good, but I think some of these things, are not really practical also. I think some of these things, I think more consultation of the private sector in implementation of. I think even this happened when I was still the president of real estate also, but real estate in Botswana. But the level of consultation also was very minimal also, and the input that we could give to them, because our market, we are so dependent on each other. Because for somebody that sell property, then we have the estate agent, you have a kid that we need to pay school fees, and then you have this construction company that is so, like, if you look at the value chain of construction, you have the guy that supply the sand, you have the contractor, you have the painter. There's so many people dependent on this. So now when we're having transactions that run for 7 months, and then also on top of that 7 months you put 30% tax on them,
it kills the industry.
It kills the industry, and it affects the economy.
Now, the one aspect which I wanted you to comment on is the idea that certificates are given the same power as title deeds, or the act as title deeds.
One of the great things.
How is that practical?
Because I think right now, we need to make a certificate that come at a cost and resources. Then we have to make lease agreement, another cost and resources. Then we have to make the title deed, another cost and resources. So why not just survey the property and whatever? Because then the only difference between the certificate and the title deed is then you can bond the title deed, because there is more information that that we can register the bond on the title deed than the certificate. So with the new certificates, then most of the information that was on the title is already kept on the certificate. So why even now go through all this, so it's a long process, and then even the government, they're just creating more work for them. So even with this, then if the whole country now, because then also this is going to now unleash so much potential also in the tribal land space, because now all these people now, it means now they can start now leveraging from their properties, because so I think even for collection of rates, I think most of these leases the government has not been paid very well, because also even with the LABCAs,
LABCAs was supposed to solve all this, but it looks like we have to redo LABCAs indirectly.
So
they were asking us to re-register.
So this is going to help. It's going to help. So I think that one that we really applaud the government on that one.
So there are mixed results there, but in terms of this 7 months delay, is there light at the end of the tunnel? Is there any indication when you interact with the minister and others that this is going to change?
I think for me, I'm not the one that complains a lot. Yeah, so I think you need to reinvent and adapt when these changes are happening. Yeah, so I think only the few smartest, only the few chosen one are going to survive. Most people are going to perish. Because then, I think we're at a point, I think about 5 years back, we're at a point in our market where our real estate agents wanted to be paid in commissions. So right now, if you look at now, you're waiting 7 months to get paid. How do you keep your agents and your real estate agents on commission? When the guy has to wait for 6 to 7 months to get paid, where is he? Like, it's how is he paying, for his social well-being? Like, it's not practical.
Yeah.
So with us, I think on when the market is changing like this, you adapt. I think one of the things also that we are introducing. So right now, if you travel to Joburg, where do you stay? Where do you start looking for property?
For property or for place to stay?
For place to stay, or?
No, there are several.
But then, if you wanted to buy, where would you start?
I guess Sentin.
But who would you call?
Yeah, an estate agent.
Which one?
There are some big ones. I mean, there's the likes of Pem Golding and a few others.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, SIF Properties.
I think what I'm trying to say to you now is that you don't have to go any further now, because that's another gap in the market. So we have a lot of Botswana that want to invest in South Africa because the rental market there is very good. The fully furnished market for Airbnb and those fully furnished rentals, it's a very good market. But if you want to invest in that space, who do you talk to that you can trust and say?
I guess we come to Matchmakers.
You come to Matchmakers. So we're going to be opening our office in Sentin for those purposes, so that we close that gap for our market. So that's why I say you got to keep evolving. You got to keep changing with the market. If not,
you perish.
You perish. And I think we have seen a lot of good companies that fail to adapt and evolve, like your Nokia and your BlackBerry. Just close shop, because even our local cars dealerships here, I had one is already been closed, and this was one of the biggest dealership in the country. It's been closed because now the German guys are saying, you guys are 20 years behind, because now we are selling electric cars. We can't supply you anymore. So whatever you have left, clear it up and close shop. Because they're failing to adapt, they're failing to change and reinvent themselves.
So change is very, very imperative.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, I want to just get a views on the developments around the idea of a reset, government reset, which manifested in the form of, the setting up of the Ministry of Entrepreneurship. And I'm asking you, as a former head of RIB, to say, has this been a positive development? And if it's so, has it really translated on the ground? How is the ministry helping us, and what is your take?
Mr. Minister for that one, Mr. Gare.
Yes, I think that's the name.
I think it's Mr. Gare. I forgot his first name. But government they're doing a lot of great initiatives, but I think the lack of consultation, and also I think they would always have a delegation that say, go consult. I don't know who these people consult with, and I think that lack of consultation, they have great ideas, bad implementation, bad execution, because then now you have the Ministry of Entrepreneurship. This is the ministry where the SMEs, the new guys that are trying to get into the business space, this is where we should go all cry to. This is the ministry that I go to the guy and it's like, look, we need, and then you have Minister of Entrepreneurship. It's very far also from Minister of Trade. It's very far also from BITC. It's very far also from Innovation Hub. And then, it's there's not even where, they don't even have like a centralized committee that we can say, so they have all these great ideas. I think that problem is execution. Because I don't think that ministry, but we'll see with the results. But for me, I haven't had any entrepreneur. Yeah, I haven't had, but every time I met them at there was some trade fair. I met them then. I said my grievances to them. It's like, no, the ministry is still new. The ministry is still new. We're still finding our space. At the consumer fair, the past one, I was there. I saw that ministry. I went. I was like, guys, we need you. This is a brilliant idea. What are you guys offering us? how is it separate and different from what you guys were previously doing? Because now I'm seeing the same people that are working from the ministry, and they actually look like they pulled people from other ministries and then they put them together. I hope the idea is there.
And they said no, don't expect much. They're
still finding that fit. So let's not judge them too soon. But I just hope and wish they can get entrepreneurs, not politically affiliated, to sit in their boards, to sit in the advisory committees, so that they give them the right guidance. Because then now, if they implement this thing from the government level without doing what we need from the ground as entrepreneurs, because what do I need right now? I need somebody who can say what the minister was doing with the tax. Say, look, let's cut the tax from 14% to 12%. That helps my business. So I need a minister who can look out for me, make the playing field level for me as an entrepreneur. That's what we need. Yeah. So, but stuff like that. So
we have to keep engaging. Yeah. We can only hope. Now, tell me about your current mentorship efforts. I'll let it be known that you have more than a few times come over when I have mentorship classes. You've added your voice and you've participated in 1 or 2 sessions, and for which I'm eternally grateful. But I do know that you have your own mentorship efforts. Are you able to share some of those?
Yeah, I've been mentored a lot of people. I'm still mentoring. I've absorbed more. So for me, I think when the people that I mentor, I don't want them to look for me. I look for them. Of which is one of the principles also in marketing, that all the customers you're looking for, the same customers are looking for you. Yeah, right now I need a glass of water.
Yeah,
I'm looking for someone who can sell me water, and the guy who's selling water, he's also looking for me, but he doesn't know where to find me.
Okay, you have to simplify that.
Yeah, so for me, I know that there are kids that want me to mentor them, and there are also people that I want to mentor. So for me, I select them. Yeah, I handpick them because I don't believe in qualifications. I believe in energy, and I believe in potential. Because I've seen kids with certificates perform better than kids with degrees, especially in the real estate. Because then if you look at
because it's about energy.
Yeah, it's about because then you can still have masters in real estate and still fail to sell an apartment. So for me, that energy and that potential, I see that hunger and that willingness to learn. There's a kid in my office, Sarona City. I did some trainings at Baisaro. We saw the kid at school. Then she was doing second year. Then I started mentoring her from school. She just graduated last year, November. So this is the kid right now selling Tsokotla Estates in G North. She's the one who have sold the 60 townhouses. So this is somebody that I've taught. This is how you sell. This is how you sell. This is how you talk to the customer. This is how you provide the service. Like everything from point A to point Z, I taught her everything that she knows. And she's delivering because I saw the potential in her. I saw the anger. I saw the attitude, and I saw the energy. Yes. Because some people they feel like it's mentor me. You guys squeeze us in. You guys don't want to mentor us. You only mentor so and so and so and so. Because we are a country that lives in entitlement also. That's another problem. Like we feel the world owes us something. Like Mr. Mogobe owes me a meeting with me. Mr. Mogobe doesn't owe you a meeting. He doesn't owe you anything. You want something, go get it and be there, be present, and let that hunger. When a 2-year-old baby make you talk to a brick and say hello, you are finally going to say hello. So when I see somebody with that same hunger, then I pick them, for my mentorship. Otherwise, everybody else I'll make them pay.
Yeah, because they don't take no for an answer.
Yeah. So I think almost everybody in my office, I've handpicked, I've mentored. I think we're at a staff of about 15 people in my office here in CBD. So every single person in that office, everybody have their own story. Some of them, I picked the guy under the tree, send them to school. Now the guy is one of the top sales performing guys in the office because the hunger, the potential, I was seeing there, like the energy and the attitude. That's like, you deserve my time. I'm going to give you my time. I'm going to teach you everything that I know so that when you fail, at least you are 70-80% better than, at least close to me. So let's see how it goes. So, and most of them, they've actually turned out very good.
That sounds exciting. It's exciting. We'd like to think that COVID is behind us. but I think we still feeling the after effects.
True.
Or the delayed after effects in some cases. How has it been in the real estate industry? More specifically, how has it been with matchmakers? How the impact of COVID?
I think what the most biggest impact of COVID was the cash flow. Because for us, we don't depend. We do our job. From our end, like it's as in sales, we sell. We sell. It's very painful when you're looking at your projections. You're looking at 10, 20 million there, but you can't put your hands on that 20 million because it still have to go through BRS. But BRS now is telling you that because of COVID, there are only 2 people now working on those files. And then from BRS, then now it has to go to Deeds office. Now Deeds office, because someone has tested positive for COVID in the office, the whole office is closed. You have bills to pay, you have salaries to pay, your transaction is started dates. What do you do? So I think when it came, I think we were so unprepared. I think that's why for me now, I think when we are having our yearly plan, with my office manager, I was saying to the guy that, whatever happens, let's always have reserves for everything for us to be able to operate for more than 6 months on reserves, so that whatever happens, we are always free. Because what happened there, I think it was a wake-up call. But I know still, even now, a lot of us, because we are still recovering from that, we are always going to be caught up in that vicious circle. And should it come again, I think a lot of people will never open again. We'll be closed permanently. But the impacts.
But I think also the governments have learned a lot from how to respond to it. I mean, I don't think we'll have a total shutdown.
I think, for me, what I love about that pandemic, what we got out of that pandemic was the concept of working from home. There are companies that are actually doing very well now that have, downscaled. Instead of firing people, they've cut their overheads and say but you are always here in this office. What are you doing here? You can work from home. So now, because the world also is moving digital, so now they're on the shared network. Even when everybody's in that computer, you can see the login time. You can see this one is active online. You have to work with your webcam on. You can't say I'm online, but then you are watching Netflix. So you have to be online with your webcam on. And all these things, there are systems that are actually capturing all these things. You have to log in and log out. So that working from home concept also, it has worked well, but also for the ones that are renting out the office spaces, it's a negative impact on them. But most of the big corporations right now, I know most of the banks also, they have a lot of their staff working from home and also shifting.
Okay. Now, as we conclude, I'd like you just to leave the viewer with one statement or indication of why you believe real estate is the best sort of investment class ever invented by man.
I think that if you look at all the top 10 richest people in the world, the hugest part of investment is in real estate. Because real estate is you have 100 pula, you have turned it into gold. Whenever you need it, you can always melt that gold and get your 100 pula back. So that's the beauty about real estate. So even if you have 2 million pula now, I say, Mr. Mogobe, buy this property, you buy 2 million pula, you can always get it back, or even more than 2 million pula. That is the beauty about real estate. But other, investment vehicles also, when you look at them, whatever money you put, when you want it back, it comes at losses. You have to lose a lot. As you look at stocks, you look at bonds, and those things are dependent on so many things that, but with real estate, even when the market shifts in real estate, it doesn't shift overnight. That's the beauty about real estate. So even during COVID, people is no, the market has dropped, the market is going to crash. Even when the market crash, it's not going to crash immediately during the pandemic. It's going to, the impact, we'll feel the impact after a year or 2 or 3. So the wheels turns very slowly in real estate. That's the beauty about it. Everything else, everything can change overnight. But with real estate, the market does not pick up overnight. It does not drop overnight. So that's what makes it more secure and more reliable.
That's why I love it.
Yes, sir.
So what's the long-term prognosis or the long-term view about Matchmakers and brand Isaac Molefinyane if we're looking 10, 15 years down the line?
I'm not trying to be here for a long time. I think what I enjoy most, there was a time when I used to, but I still do, I enjoy selling. I enjoy selling. I'm a natural salesperson. I enjoy selling, but I think it doesn't give me the same fulfillment that I'm getting from, giving property advice. Like it's helping somebody, like just looking at the financial position, putting the whole team together, to save these people from that financial mess, getting that amount of debt. And then, when I see them, at an airport, I'm getting in economy, the guy's getting on business class. I'm like, I think for me that fulfillment, like it's, it gives me more joy than me having to sell property to anybody. I think for me, our future at Matchmakers right now, I think our expansion plans are to provide, that close the gap for Joburg South African market, both in Gauteng and also in the Western Cape. So our plan is to open in Sandton and also open in Cape Town. Because then the concept of holiday homes and that concept of fully furnished residence, I think a lot of people are still sleeping on it. So we want to make it fashionable for our country. So if everybody doesn't want to take it to the people, I think we are going to take it to Botswana and make it easy for Botswana to get these properties. And then because then if your house is fully let the whole year in Cape Town, and then you just tell me, look, Isaac, from 20 to 31st, make it empty, and then that's your holiday home. During the rest of the year, you are fully booked. I think that's where we should be living. That's how we should be investing.
Okay, so it seems to me that you're talking in terms of branches across the subcontinent.
So that is our but locally, I think what we want to emphasize more and focus more on is the concept of rent to buy. Rent to buy, because then. If you've been observing our prime rate, because I think in 2010, our prime rate was, there was a time when there was that market boom, and then right now the prime rate has been dropping and dropping. I think for the past 2 years,
it dropped quite a bit until it picked up.
So if you look at the past 2 years, it's been going up, and going up. So we don't know how. These are some of the impacts also of the pandemic. So we don't know how high this interest rate is going to go. And what the market and what an ordinary Motswana doesn't understand is, as that interest rate goes up, if you qualify for 1 million today, every time it goes up, you qualify for less. Every time it goes up, you qualify for less. So with all of these things, and also with when it goes up, you qualify for less, but you still have that personal loan and you still have that car loan. What is now doing that to your repayments? So all of these things is a trickle effect that so it's going to cause even people to get into more financial debt. So for me, I think the way I'm looking at the future of the bank's finances, the banks are eventually going to get to a point where now we are not getting that 100% finance. If we are getting the 100% finance, you'll get it at a higher interest, or the bank are going to shift to give us 20% deposit. Because you go to the South African market, everybody knows when they're buying property, they have to put 30 or 40% deposit.
Which is crazy.
But it's so normal to them.
It's
so normal to them that they have to put that 40% deposit. But here, we still want the 100% finance. So for us now, what we want to do in our Botswana market is to promote the concept of rent to buy. So that by the time when it's very difficult for people to get financings from the bank, Matchmakers Properties have already now set the tone of put the deposit, pay your balance in a couple of years, and then we've already perfected, that thing in the long term. So that
this rent-to-buy concept, is this similar to BHC's tenant purchase scheme?
It's the same, I think, but the difference would be on the implementation, because it's more expensive. What BHC does is they build, because when you build and then you say it's a rent-to-buy, and then where did you get your capital from to build? Wherever you got your capital from, you are paying interest on it. And then you need to pass that interest to the customer. Then you defeat the whole game.
That's true.
So that's what we are doing at Alo. That's what I was saying. We started the rent to buy in Mogobe, where we built about 50 apartments there. But because they were already built, you put 80,000, you take the house keys, you pay the balance in 5 years. But there's interest we are paying. It's about 8% from the bank. Then we need to transfer it. We're not charging you more. We just transferring the same 8% to you. So with Tsokotla Estates now being one of the first one that we don't want to put interest on it, is we're saying put the 10% deposit. As we are building, when we start constructing your 3 beds for 1.3 million, then you start paying your installments as we are building your unit.
Yeah.
So only upon completion, that's when we give you the keys.
Warwick used to do that a lot. In Kale. They call it 10 key. Yeah, they call it 10 key, where you start giving them deposits, and we've done quite a few projects with them, and then by the time it finishes, they hand you the key.
So I think it's more cost effective if your customers start paying before, because it's a give and take. We can't just build all these houses and just give them to the market. We also have businesses to run. But I think this is more doable for everybody.
Okay. Time for you to hit me with a question if you have one.
Okay. I think what my question to you would be, I know, I think earlier on I was saying that, I think you'll still be here in the next 5 to 10 years because you find a ways to always evolve. I think the last time I was here, you had one light. You are not on Instagram. You are not that active also. Let me not say you are not. You were there. I was not following you because you're not active.
Yeah.
But now, you have stories on Insta. You can go live on Insta. You are evolving. So my question to you is, I don't know. So I would like to know, who did, because I know there's a group, but there's always a group of people that started together. So I don't know, it's because maybe then we might have to call them without calling their names.
Yeah.
But maybe where they are, have they also evolved, or or maybe they've been swallowed by the market? Because I know the story always ends the other way.
I mean, the best way to answer this is for you to look at the analytics on YouTube and elsewhere to see the age in terms of my followers and subscribers. You see that the biggest demographic is 18 to something like 36.
Okay.
And those people are following, they're interested in what I'm doing. And then it starts tapering off from 37 to 48. And then after 48, nothing, nada. No followers, no subscribers, nobody. And if there are, they just maybe 1 or 2 people. So what that tells me is that people have this mentality that once they get after 50, they are they actually literally say, we're in the afternoons of our lives. And that sort of tells them that it's time to slow down, to think in terms of retirement and not to be active. I'm the opposite. I believe that you surround yourself with young people. You learn from young people. You empower them. They empower you, and you keep going. And so that helps me. Some of the activities that I'm doing, it's not just me. It's these young people who are helping me. I still get challenged when I have to do something. I say, so can I do it? I send them a message and they help me. But the idea is just to remain young at heart.
No, I really,
to keep.
I really applaud and respect that.
Yes, to keep looking at and believing that things are getting better and brighter, and bring these generations along instead of just complaining. Hey, these youngsters, these millennials, involve them, bring them along. That's what I strongly
change
believe.
And adapt. Yeah.
Yes. So it has helped me a lot in not just the podcast, but in other aspects of our business as well.
And there was a time when I was still working for Apex Properties. There was a guy there, he was trying to get me out of Apex. And I told the guy that, even if I were to leave, I won't leave Apex. But if I were to leave here, I won't come to your company because you don't believe in marketing, you don't believe it. Told him so many things that he doesn't believe in.
Yeah.
And then he told me that, my company is the biggest brand in the country. And I said to him that Coca-Cola is still advertising. Colgate is still advertising. You have stopped advertising because you are that big. Right now, that company, I think if it's not closed, it's non-existent. It's non-existent because of that failure to change and adapt.
Yeah.
So
failure to
they still want to do the same things and still get the same results. On the new environment means new problems.
Yeah.
So it means we need to give new solutions and new mindset, new level of thinking.
Yeah. Well, that's the definition of insanity, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
According to is it Einstein? He says you keep doing the same thing. That's one definition of insanity, and expect new results. Then you're insane if you do that. I think we've covered everything we need to cover. what you need to do is to look at that camera, Mr. Molefinyane,
Yes, sir.
and kindly leave that viewer with a nice, uplifting messages that sort of encompasses what we've covered.
Okay. All right. I think we have discussed so many things here, but the overall discussion here was also surrounded around property investment, of which is always something, that I always like to emphasize, property investment. And like I always say that, when do you want to invest in property, the most important things before you invest in property is the numbers. You have to look at the numbers, and your numbers is how much money are you putting in any project, how much money are you getting out of it, what are the costs, and most importantly, are you making a profit or are you making a loss? And if you are making a profit or a loss, you are making it after how long? And as you are doing all of these things, are you doing it in silos or are you doing them as a package? Do you have a plan? And you do not start investing in property when you don't have at least a 3 to 5 year plan, because you are going to make very impulsive decisions on the way, because there's always something to buy, always an opportunity that you think you can grab. But then if you have a plan, a well thought out plan, even when we need to build apartments in Tlokweng, when you see another plot in Mogobe, it doesn't bother you because it doesn't fall in your plan. So my advice, my last words is, have an investment plan before you start investing, because if you don't plan, you plan to fail. Thank you. See you soon.
Absolutely. Just share with them all your contacts, your latest contacts, social media and elsewhere.
Okay. It's Matchmakers Properties and all the social media platforms, and on Instagram, on Facebook and Twitter. And for me, it's Isaac Molefinyane, also on all social medias. Our office is here in CBD in I Towers, floor 11, Unit C. Our contact number is 391-9971. So you can always come to our office. The first meeting, I know I did say that I just 30,000 pula. I know, like a lot of people are saying, this guy, but I would like to have a sit down with him, but he's expensive. So for me, I'll tell you that I'll charge you 30,000 pula to put your things together, but the first meeting is free.
The first meeting is free.
Because I know from that first meeting, you are coming back.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Moore.
All right. You're most welcome.
All right.
Thank you very much. You've done a great job.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.